Okay, so we have here a game against Arkell.
Arkell was one of the most talented young players from that period from England, and he tried to attack in a very tactical Sicilian, right from the opening, immediately after the opening. And as usual, we have a very interesting Sicilian. I played Sicilian with black, pause and variation. Black could have finally a very strong counterplay, and the game will finish in a clear disaster for white, you'll see.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So here, after bishop d3, knight f6, castle, d6. This is one of the most normal positions from this variation from Pausen. White has more space and tries to come in on the king side later on. Black has to defend very precisely and have some counterplay on the queen side and in the center. We'll see what will happen in the next few moves. Castle. Now bishop e3. Knight bd7. f4. Well, white prepares to come very quickly if possible. Now you have to be careful with black and choose the normal line to try to defend successfully, because the game is already a little bit dangerous for black if you don't play precisely, So now rook e8, it is the best plan. Black has to put the bishop in f8, later on to play g6, and in some positions to come with the bishop in g7 with a very good defensive position. This is the best plan for black, here. If you remember, I played something similar against Beliavsky in the super tournament from Moscow in 81.
Yeah.
So now after queen f3, okay, he gives you the move, hoping that finally you have not the best moves in every position, and white having more space can realize his small advantage, and come quickly on the king side.
If I remember correctly, Beliavsky
played something very quickly with g4,
like that.
Yes.
And the king
with
was
g4,
here.
g5.
Yes.
And the game was very, very sharp, finally.
Yeah.
So after g6, rook d1, okay. Now he gives you the move, but the game is okay for black, because the only possibility to come through here with white is to play somehow the move f5. But the move f5 in this position gives nothing, because black has control on e5 square. And after f5, knight e5, black is already better. So you have to wait a little bit with white. You have no time to come immediately. And black has time to realize his plan to play b6, bishop b7. And has all the good squares for his pieces on the other side. We'll see. If you succeed to play b6 and bishop b7, black is already okay in this line. So now rook d2. He didn't find something else than to try to put the other rook on f2. It seems dangerous because it has triple, the f file, the queen and the two rooks. But that gives nothing. White threatens nothing in this position. Rook d2, b6. Again, rook df2. Now bishop e7. Now we see the result of the opening. Black has a normal game, waits, and any move which will be a little bit too active will be punished, tactically. We'll see. So knight e2. He wants to play g4, g5 now. If he played immediately g4, after e5, again, black was all right, He could open the game and had no problem, So, rook d8. Now, again, he changes the plan, because the threat was already d5, opening the game in black's favor, So, it seems that if he can control the c5, because the queen is in c7, he can stop the threat d5. But it's not clear at all. Black has already a better game here, and can show it in just a few moves. Rook f8, g4. And exactly here, after g4, which is very active, black starts his decisive counterplay. Knight c5, bishop b1. It was a little bit better to give the black bishop in c5. But if he takes the knight from c5, black is already better without any, counterplay for white. I mean, he has a very strong bishop in f8, no chance for white to attack anyway. The king in g1 is weak already, and the move g4 was for nothing. I mean, he doesn't threat anything in g4. Huh? But after knight b1, bishop b1, black is already winning by force now here. After this move d5, which is typical for this kind of position in Sicilian, white has to take, of course. Now you take. And before, what could he take? If he takes in d5, after knight takes d5 is terrible for white, I mean, it's completely lost. And before was the last chance, but it's too late. Now d takes e4. Queen has to go back to g2.
Sorry. Okay.
Well,
So
if he takes in e4, he loses at least something. If not a piece, something more, maybe exchange or rook or something. That you see, the result of the opening is catastrophic for white. All the pieces are not coordinated, and the threats against the king from g1 are already very real. Very clear. So queen g2, and now knight d3. Now it's finished. He can't take in d3. He lost the pawn already. Black has already winning initiative. And the last hope was knight d5. Okay. Knight d5. Okay. After this simple move, queen d6. Yeah. White could resign, of course. But after queen d6.
but why?
But what can he play here?
Not can we not take?
No, if you take, well, you can take and give the queen also, but this is also probably winning.
I see. Yeah,
but
sorry,
it's not necessary to give the queen.
Yeah,
Why?
so actually there is double attack on the queen.
Yes, so now, therefore I told you, it's the last hope, no? So now after queen d6, he played already bishop takes d3, and after knight takes d5, he resigned. Because you can see all white pieces are under attack, and he loses at least a piece, if not more, So, okay, he resigned, and as I told you before, the game was a real disaster for white, in Sicilian. Yeah.
The position crumbled.
Yeah, completely, completely. But it happens like this in Sicilian. Sicilian is very dangerous variation. I mean, very difficult defense for black. You can have very bad results with black in Sicilian because white has very strong attacking chances usually,
Yeah.
But from time to time, if black has a successful counterattack, we have a game like this.
Yes.
Which is really...
So what was wrong here for white?
You
wasn't
can't...
quick enough or...
No, he mixed up a little bit the ideas,
Mm-hmm.
In Sicilian, if you want something, you can't play for win in a tactical way and in the same time try to go back with some pieces and defend everything. It's not possible.
So the move, the rook here was like a loss of time?
He was moving the rooks here and there. You see, rook d2, rook f2, rook f1 to c1 and so on.
Yeah.
And as a result, we have the game.
This one, yes.
And so as I told you, it happens all the time in Sicilian. If you play well with black, I mean, if you have some small mistakes in the opening, the result is very bad for black, usually, in Sicilian. Jokingly, if you don't lose the first 15, 20 moves in Sicilian with black, then you have, if you could survive somehow, then you have very good chances later on,
Yes.
And this game was no exception. It was like this.
Nice.
Yeah. But the final position, you see, is something unbelievable for white, you say. To have such a game with white is...
everything is disaster.
Everything is hanging, Even if he's not forced to resign in one move here, the game is terrible because it has nothing to play. I mean, just... The
queen is like a pawn there.
Not only this, but he loses by force something, He loses at least one piece.
Yes.
At least. Yeah.
True.
The bishop from e3 is attacked. The bishop from d3 is attacked. The big diagonal from b7 to g2, if you can open this, terrible, The king in g1 is also very weak. So Tactical disaster. You know.
True.
Well,
Right.
it can happen. I told you. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Gheorghiu.
You're welcome.